So you make eye contact with the girl at the store and she smiles at you. Your heart stops for a second and you think she may be interested. You consider approaching, but you get scared and continue shopping. It weighs on your mind, but you move on with your life. And then, the next time you're in the store, the same thing happens. And the time after that. And now you're actually starting to think about this girl that you keep seeing at the store. After a few more visits, you finally think about it and realize that it's time to walk up to her and say hi. Maybe ask for her number or get her Instagram. So you swallow your fear, approach her, mumbling out the "Hey, I see you in here all the time and I wanted to get your number" line that you've been thinking about for days. And you say it, but before you finish, she interrupts you with "No thanks, I'm not interested," and walks away. And you feel devastated and embarrassed. This is the worst moment of your life. You vow to never risk that terrible feeling ever again. You have lost. But what if I told you that there's a way to consider this a win? To walk away feeling proud of the rejection and to never lose in a scenario like this, or with anything, ever again. In fact, losing won't even be in your vocabulary anymore. So, to hammer in this point, let me tell you a story. When I was in college, I went through a phase of extreme focus on my fitness goals. I was trying to be extremely active in the gym and work consistently every day on putting on muscle. And after a few months of work, I was finally starting to see progress. I mean, it wasn't crazy progress. I've mentioned in the past how I never really put full energy into it, but it was enough progress to encourage me to continue what I was doing. I felt great. And then, disaster struck when I absolutely destroyed my leg in a skiing accident. I broke my leg so badly that I had to get a metal plate and a bunch of screws put into it, which, by the way, are still there today. My months of gym progress went to waste, and now I was unable to walk for almost 4 months. I couldn't drive, I couldn't lift weights, and my leg was stuck extended, which, by the way, is really inconvenient, for a long time. Once I was finally able to move, I had to go through a few months of physical therapy. I went from making progress on my fitness goals to not even being able to support my body weight on one of my legs. In fact, I couldn't even bend my knee. It was brutal, and I hated every second of it. I spent months annoyed, questioning why this happened to me, and wondering how long it would take me to get back to normal. To be able to socialize, see my college friends again, and get back into the gym. It was a loss on nearly every single level. So after half of a year of sulking, I got back into the gym slowly and went through the tedious process of rebalancing my muscles, only being able to leg press 60 pounds. I could barely bend my knee, and I wasn't even able to do anything remotely athletic for the rest of that entire year. And as I was going through this, I began to realize something. See, I always thought I was invincible. Doing stupid stuff, attempting sports that I really didn't have the capability to do, neglecting my body with alcohol, eating junk, missing out on sleep, and so many other things that just really aren't good for you. But seeing how easily I completely destroyed my leg and how long it took me to recover, it got me thinking about how quickly life can change. And as weird as this sounds, I was kind of glad that it happened. While it felt like a loss for a long time, and I was pouting and whining about the whole experience, it eventually turned into a win. An injury that reduced my leg's mobility for the rest of my life, put me in debt because US medical bills are stupid, and caused me to be bedridden for months was one of the best perspective shifts I've ever had, and honestly, I don't regret any of it. See, this is exactly the mindset that you need to never lose again. Every single negative effect or circumstance is a win when framed the correct way. If you look at these losses as stepping stones in the non-stop learning experience that is life, you see how everything connects and how it ends up bettering you and leading to things that happen down the line. Sure, getting rejected or curved by the girl in the grocery store is a terrible experience, but if that happens to you multiple times, you're going to gain the tolerance to not even care about approaching people anymore. You are numb to the rejection, so you can walk up to anyone and, well, if they reject you, who cares? It already happened before. So walking away from that initial rejection is going to hurt, but if you look at it in the grand scheme of things, it's actually doing you a service. My parents have had disastrous marriages. They got divorced when I was 3, my mom's been married quite a few times since then, and my dad got married and re-divorced from his second wife, and my whole childhood was a weird web of relationships. I saw abusive ones, great ones, temporary ones, and toxic ones, and for years I looked at it as a generational curse that I was bound to follow. I mean, I wouldn't wish that type of chaos on anyone, and if you've been through it, you know what it's like. But at 23 years old, my perspective has changed, and I'm glad I got to witness all of it. I've become the person that I am today because of these chaotic losses, and now they've become wins. Because I was raised partially by a single mom, I learned to understand women and be in tune with my emotions. Because I've seen so many toxic relationships, I know how to create a good one. Because I didn't have my dad around as much as I should have, I learned how to be self-sufficient and make my own path in the world. Sure, all of these things are definitely negative, but I don't consider them as losses. And while they all feel absolutely terrible at the time, they've laid the groundwork for the person I've become today. So this is my point. Once you realize the potential for a positive outlook on losses, you will never lose again. I've talked about how you should slow down and enjoy the journey, and well, that's what life is. Look at every single day on an individual level and make it your goal to improve a tiny bit each time the sun sets. Observe your past negative experiences and try to learn from them and realize every single thing you've ever done in life has all led you directly to this point where you're watching this video, hearing these words, and being prepared to make changes. Maybe you had a terrible breakup. Well, guess what? It taught you what to look out for in future relationships. It taught you how to be a better boyfriend or girlfriend. It taught you how to open up to someone. It taught you something. You just have to find what it is. And once you do, it'll feel like a win. If you one day get married and have a beautiful family, your breakup led you there. If you open a business and become a multimillionaire in 5 years, your breakup led you there. Once you extend your time frame long enough, each of these losses will be transformed into a win in one way or another, even if you don't initially see how they connect. If my parents didn't get divorced when I was young, and my mom didn't get remarried multiple times, and people didn't come and go in my life as I was developing, I wouldn't have learned how to be independent. I wouldn't have gotten out of my comfort zone in college. I wouldn't have moved to the city that I'm in now. I wouldn't have met the girl that I've fallen in love with. I wouldn't have decided to start this YouTube channel, and I wouldn't be able to change other people's perspectives by sharing my thoughts with them in this video. It's all connected. And see, my friends, that's how you never lose again. Try to piece it all together, and I promise you'll see a light at the end of the tunnel, and with easy adjustments like this, you can literally change your life. I know there's a lot of these channels popping up on YouTube, but I'm trying to make this one different by providing actual insight with stories that affected me. I understand these may not apply to everyone, but I like sharing my perspectives on the internet, and if it could help even one person, then I consider it a win. So if it did, feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments, and that's it for today's talk, and we'll talk again soon.